is all about. We will give you a short teaser so that we will know what to expect in the relaunch of Miss Teen Philippines. Alright, there you have it, the relaunch of Miss Teen Philippines. Truly, it is a nationwide search. Kindly may just make kwento. I remember in the last question and answer portion in Miss Teen Philippines, I said something like, I want libraries in national-wide. I had bloopers, so I just remember how much memories I have in Miss Teen Philippines. But at this point, of course, we would like to call on the reigning queens and talk about their memories. So, may I please welcome on stage all those years of waiting to have their crowns reigned. First is our Miss Teen Philippines first runner-up, Miss Chara Ocampo, together with Miss Teen Philippines finalist Bianca Wilson, and of course, our reigning Miss Teen Philippines, Raisha Nicole Villar Magadia. Let's have a little chit chat. Yes. Okay, let's start with Chiara. How have you been? And what have you been doing since after your reign?
Hello
to
to
get
the
used to this
media.
thing.
I'm great. Actually, I'm on a low profile in terms of pageants. So, I'm doing my master's now in De La Salle University in marketing communications. So, very low profile in terms of the modeling and the pageant world. But what I have, yeah, that's what I'm doing, what I've been doing right now. Yeah.
How about you, Bianca? Bianca is actually from Cebu and she flew all the way to Cebu to join us.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
How are you? How have you been doing after the
I'm okay. Like flying here to Manila, I got delayed by 2 hours. But other than that, I'm here safe and sound, and I'm happy to be here.
What have you been busy with during your whole reign?
So right now, I graduated fashion design for 2 years, and hopefully I can start my own clothing line, and we'll see what will happen by then.
Of course, our queen.
Yes.
Little did you know that actually in 2006 you competed for Miss Teen International held in Florida. Tell us about that experience.
That experience was amazing. So being Miss Teen Philippines enabled me to qualify for that pageant. It was crazy, like 40 candidates from all over the world, mostly from North America and Latin. It was still more fun because I was with them, I got to meet them, and right now we're still like friends, and I really cherish the relationships that I've made with them.
What have you been doing for the past 4 years, maybe? What was your advocacy when you won Miss Teen Philippines, I guess?
So for the past 4 years, like Kiara, I've been kind of low-key with pageants because of my studies. So currently I'm graduating legal management Ateneo de Manila, then probably law school next year. When I joined Miss Teen Philippines, my pageant was really, of course, education and at the same time, woman empowerment. So I think that my personal advocacies when I was in high school really aligned with the pageant, and that alignment really made me want to join and be a part of this great advocacy that is Miss Teen Philippines. So that's when the question and answer I was asked by by one of the founders, Attorney Jude Kawil, like what did my mom taught me? And I said it was really woman empowerment. So from there, I'm really grateful that the pageant chose me as your spokesperson, and that enabled me to further my advocacy in empowering women around the Philippines.
It really speaks for itself, global readiness through education. I guess a lot of the Miss Teens right here on stage share the same passion for education because I'm graduating this Sunday with my MBA. You're taking your MBA, you're planning to go to law school. And that's how great Miss Teen Philippines is. It changes your lives. It's changed mine more than half my whole life. And I guess just to mention to people, especially to the Presscon, where did all the Miss Teen Philippines go? You know, in Miss Teen Philippines 2007, she's Maxine Monaster. She's married now with kids, but she's also a doctor. In 2005, we have Glenda Rumor, who's already a lawyer. We also have an ANC anchor, Vivian Gillia. And in showbiz, of course, we have Beauty Gonzalez. And of course, in terms of pageantry, me din pala, I forgot. I went to showbiz. I totally forgot. When I'm Miss Teen, I'm just like, I feel like a beauty queen. The shortest beauty queen you can ever have. So in terms of pageantry, we had Nadia Shami and Nicole Smith for Binibining Pilipinas International. We had Gwen Ruiz as Miss World, and we have, of course, Royce Estella for Miss Chinatown. So I guess for young girls who dream to become beauty queen or role models for the youth, Miss Teen Philippines is a great stepping stone because it's really empowering women through education. And I guess that's everybody's advocacy. It's not just for young girls, but maybe young guys as well. When they look up to the girl crushes that they have, oh, these girls have substance and have something to say. How about for you, Miss Regine? How do you think this whole Miss Teen Philippines is different from the other pageants?
Well, we all know that there are a lot of pageants here in the Philippines, but Miss Teen Philippines is the only pageant dedicated for the youth. So we are looking for a youth ambassador to be the forefront in promoting our cause and be a role model among her peers.
Right, a role model, which is, I guess, very important. I wish there was a grooming school for role models. I think one of those grooming schools, which is not institutionalized yet, is Miss Teen Philippines. And since we're looking for more than a pretty face, I guess people who could answer grace under pressure, maybe we could kind of open the floor to the press and test our question and answer. If you have any questions for anyone on stage about the pageant. May you please say your name and your question.
We have a question from John Michael Bueno.
Hello, ladies. Good afternoon. I'm John Buena from Kumakaw.com, and Science website. First of all, congratulations for doing this year. May I ask, ma'am, what was the problem on why it hasn't been hosted for the past few years? Would you mind telling us the reason why?
I believe the right person to answer this question is the founder, Mr. Ferdiu.
Okay.
I'll stay on the side. I don't think I fit in with these beautiful faces on stage. Actually, yes, we wanted to continue Miss Teen Philippines, but as you would know, when we last held it, it was back in 07-08. But no, we started 2004 and then we did it 07-08, which kind of was hard for the Philippines in terms of the crisis, Asian crisis, and so we had to stop. And then Fortunately, somebody was interested in running the 2014 show, so they asked us the permission. We gave them the permission to continue it. Unfortunately, it was very successful. We have these beautiful ladies up here from 2014, but they kind of had the budget constraint. Now, the founders have been actually have their own day jobs, no?
Yeah.
And we started Miss Teen Philippines because we wanted to empower the young ladies. Unfortunately, and we have to be honest, it is really quite hard. But now that the pageant industry is really very, very hot in the Philippines, we just decided, hey, maybe it's about time. And so with a group of youth, they were interested and said, hey, we can help you out with this. We have to do this again because we really believe that there were so many good products from Miss Teen Philippines and we're very proud of all of them. So they were interested, we had an agreement, and here we are today. I wish, of course, the organizers the best of luck. We will be here to guide them, obviously, because of our experience. But with their passion, with their love also for the empowerment of the young women of today, I'm sure they will be doing a good job.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
My next question is for Risha. All right, 2018. You've been the reigning queen, but this year you're going to be part of a panel which will be to the prospective queen. This 2019.
Yes, so being here actually, like we were really dreaming before to be able to teach and share our experiences because you were roommates. And so like after the coronation night, we were so happy because she was first runner-up and I was crowned, and we were like, I can't believe this. So we really we really waited for this day to come when it will be our turn to actually give back and teach and actually share our experiences to our to aspiring beauty queens. So I think my advice to them would be, of course, to keep persevering in whatever their dreams are. I think joining pageantry really requires courage and passion. Like when you put yourself into it, you really have to be wholehearted. And I think that for those who want to join Miss Teen Philippines, they must really want it for them to be able to make the most of the experience. And another word of advice that I can give is, of course, for them to never give up. Because as mentioned by Stephanie Saul, Miss Teen Philippines is a milestone for everyone. In a pageant, there will be just maybe 5 winners, but it's not like something that will stop you from being more than you are. Like Bianca, she won a lot of titles after Miss Teen, and that's just really amazing. So I think that we will do our best as mentors to give them the training that they need to make them grow more as a person and as a woman. So that would be my advice to them.
Will you girls have sessions with the upcoming candidates? Will there be as you mentioned earlier, you will try to have training sessions?
Yes. Hopefully, actually, me and Rachel, Nicole, my roomie, after we won the pageant, we were in the happiest room that night, and we were like, oh, we can't wait to mentor the next group because we've been through so much also. Not just physically, but also mentally, because again, Miss Teen Philippines is not all about the brains. It's not just all about the beauty. It's how you answer a question, how you present yourself. So yeah, I think we will for sure. I think for the young girls to see the beauty queens of Miss Teen Philippines, of course, it will inspire us. Like actually, Miss Stephanie Sol went to our what do you call this? Our meetings before. Miss Lara Kigaman. So it's really exciting that we'll actually be there for them also, and for sure, yeah, we'll be there to mentor them.
So for the past pageant, we had like Rufa Gutierrez to teach us how to walk, Hilary Gammon also for personality development, and Bianca Valero. So it was like an amazing panel of, of mentors, and I think that we can maybe speak and make some personality development workshops because we were once in their position. So we are in the best place to actually maybe make them more confident, maybe less shy, and we can just tell them that, oh, we were once like you, we were there, and you can do it. You know, you'll get through the coronation night and you'll do amazing.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Enzo from One Manila Vlog. To our crown beauties, it's been 4 years since you won and wore the crown. So what do you remember the most in those 4 years after the winning moments? And what are your experience wearing the crown, and what are you up to now that you are going to relinquish them to the new generation?
I think for me, because funnily, I was a first timer. I was 17 years old, and my dad actually heard it from the radio. So going into the pageant, I didn't know anything about makeup. I think all of us, anything about makeup, anything about being a beauty queen, which is very poised, very genuine to people. I think we were all first timers, and the whole pageant was really part of our growth and development as a women. As women. So, for instance, me and Nicole, we usually have this public speaking things in a room. Also, the mentors again. Great panel, Jing Mones, Ms. Lara Kegaman, Rufa Gutierrez, and so many more. And we were just very privileged to be able to have time with them, just to have time with them to hear what they have to say. It's definitely highlights, right? So definitely highlights of our experience since we're just basically babies that time. So yeah, basically the whole experience from regionals to nationals. It was great, and of course after we had a chance to do conferences to speak to the youth. So it's not all just about the pageant. Right after, we were able to speak for the Department of Education, Brigada Escuela. Also, we got to speak to exchange students to Japan. It's Genesis 2.0 in Tagaytay. So it's really fulfilling because, you know, entering the pageant, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do like strutting, I'm gonna model. But after that, you can just see people. When you're a beauty queen, people see you as a public figure. They hear you, they listen to you. And I think I realized that right after the pageant also, we were able to expose, I guess, our advocacies, especially education for Miss Teen Philippines. So the whole thing, I can't even pick one, is very monumental to my life.
So to add to that, like Kiara, I was only 15 at that time, and I was a third-year high school student who was kind of nerdy, never wore makeup or walked in heels. But until Miss Teen Philippines came into my life, they actually like made me into a woman. Like when I entered there, I was just really a student, and when I went out of the pageant, I was really, you know, molded, and I was already transformed into an empowered woman. So just to add to the highlights, they say that the journey is the reward. So the journey of like entering the pageant until we finished the pageant and we did the activities after was, I guess, the whole highlight of it. Like it's not enough to contain it into just one experience, because as a whole, joining Miss Teen Philippines is just something that is unquantifiable. It's just really amazing. Yeah, so as mentioned, aside from those conferences where we spoke for the youth, we also had this Brigada Escuela. I think that's very important because we actually acknowledged the accomplishments of many teachers around the Philippines. So these very people who actually give in education to the youth. And I think education is the very tool for empowerment. So I'm just really glad how the activities of the pageant during and after are really aligned to education. And when we were housed, we also had courtesy calls with LGUs. And I think one notable experience was our book drive with CNN Hero of the Year. Yeah, Efren Pena, Florida. So he shared his experience to us, like what drives him to do these advocacies, what makes him so selfless, and miss like the opportunity of meeting these kinds of people who are so passionate about what they do. I think that was really a great motivating factor for us. We're so young, and then we meet these kinds of people who are just so inspiring. So yeah, definitely. The whole journey of being Miss in Philippines is what I think we can offer to share to the future aspirants for the pageant.
So for me, because I'm from Cebu, so I don't have any knowledge here in Manila. That was my first time coming to Manila, joining Miss Teen Philippines. And I remember before, I never thought about joining pageants. I was a boyish girl. I did karate, I did swimming, I did soccer. So it was never like in me to become a beauty queen. And so my mom heard this by some of the people, and she's like, you should try this out because it's a good experience. You'll learn a lot of things. And I was like, yeah, like I tried it out. And for me, it was scary because like I wouldn't know what was gonna happen. And when I reached in Manila, like it came directly in my mind. Like, why was I scared when the committee from Miss Teen Philippines were so nice? They were so open, even if we came so far. And they taught me so many lessons, exactly what they said. That joining Miss Teen Philippines is a journey, and we learn a lot of things with it. And one of the most things that I'll remember the most is meeting the 40 candidates. They taught me so many lessons. They taught me how to speak in Tagalog, which I'm very weak at, but they were very patient with me. And then they told me to just never give up. I was one of the shortest candidates. I was number one, and I remember, I remember that on the day of the pageant, my dress got broken. Like the zipper got broken, and I was in panic mode. And all the girls were like, "Don't be scared. We're gonna do everything." So most of the girls were at my back, fixing my zipper, and it was just amazing. Like the bond that we had, it was just incredible. And I think that's one of the things that I'll remember the most because they taught me a lot of things, and until now it's still with me. So yeah.
Can I just add something? I think what's so great about Miss Teen Philippines, because it's truly a nationwide contest, it's like when you come in for the pageant week, you automatically have friends from all over the Philippines. So no matter where you travel in the Philippines, you have like, oh, I can call my co-candidate and have friends. And I guess friendship is very important in the whole pageant in Miss Teen Philippines. Next question.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Jay Barbo from Pageant Talk Overload. My question is for Miss Teen Philippines first runner-up, Shira Ocampo.
Hello.
I can see you.
I'm here.
Hello. Hi.
Alright, here is your question. As Miss Teen Philippines first runner-up, what kind of role did you play in continuing the pageant's advocacy of promoting global readiness through education among the Filipino youth?
So aside from being a great support to my roommate and also Miss Teen Philippines, actually global readiness, I can really relate to that because funny enough, after the pageant, around 2 years after the pageant, I got an interview for a scholarship in Thailand. And the director there is actually the translator of Miss Thailand for Miss Universe. And Miss Teen was sort of a common ground for us. It gave me an edge also. We were able to talk about pageantry, being able to influence, again, the youth. And I was given a chance to study in Chiang Mai University. So I feel like, again, that was just 2 years after. We've done a lot of advocacies during the year of our reign. But even 2 years after, I was able to share my experiences for Miss Teen Philippines in Thailand because I was with Cambodians, I was with Americans, I was with Thai people who are also in love with pageants. So because of that, I was able to share also my experiences in the Philippines, the country, the people, even the youth, because they're also my fellow youth. So I feel like it may not be sort of an official advocacy, but I feel like me being a part of Miss Teen Philippines is already a representation of how I also talk to people, how I speak, and also how I present. Because yeah, during that time I presented so many papers and everything. And yeah, it gave me an edge. Yeah, and I was also, of course, supporting Nicole. We had so many conferences. We were able to host for Department of Education, be able to speak with National Youth ambassadors. Oh, and also I was the National Youth Commission ambassador for De La Salle University that time. So I was able to bring in the programs of NYC to DLSU. So yeah, a support, and also I guess I was given a chance to go to Thailand and spread it more. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Frankie Kanamaru from Pageant Inc. And my question is for Bianca Williamson. Hi, Bianca.
Hello.
And my question is, how has your life changed since you became one of the finalists of Miss Teen Philippines?
Okay, so I was one of the 40 candidates in Miss Teen Philippines, and I said I was candidate number 1, and I was lucky enough that I was remembered and they made me top 15. And through that, it gave me so many lessons. It made me confident. It made me that I would be a good role model to other people because, as I said, I was one of the shortest candidates. And sometimes people think that if you're short, you can't do beauty pageants because some people think that it's a disadvantage. And when I did beauty pageants, it made them see that even if you don't really have the height, it's still possible to continue your dream. After Miss Teen Philippines, I did a few more pageants. I won as Miss Consolacion 2016. It was on my municipality. And I did Sinulog Festival Queen this year. I won as second runner-up. And through that, a lot of people came up to me and they said like I was an inspiration to them. A lot of people from Cebu who doesn't have that much in height, they said like even if that I'm short, I can still continue my dreams by seeing me do those types of pageants. And for me, it's a great advantage. It's a great advantage, and also it's also something that made me really proud because I can influence them to be proud of themselves. So yeah. And it all started here in Miss Teen Philippines, always.
Great job. So, another question. In spite of your success in pageantry, do you still, what other pageants that you're eyeing or you want to join?
Right now, I'm planning to join this pageant in Leyte. So that's what I'm planning to do. But right now also I want to join Miss World. We'll see if they accept me. And if I get accepted, I'm still going to do my best. And like, as I said, Miss Teen Philippines helped us a lot. And if I do get in Miss World, then I'll be so thankful because everything started here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nolly from OPMB Worldwide. Okay. My question is, there are numbers of pageant for teenagers existing in our country today. So how will this search will set apart from the other teen-oriented pageant?
I think what distinguishes Miss Teen Philippines from the other pageants is its advocacy. So just to share, the interview going in Miss Teen Philippines was really tough, right? Like the founders were the ones who asked us, who interviewed us. So if you would expect the questions to be like, what's your hobby? What's your favorite activity? Like a subject, it wasn't like that. So I was asked like, if you would have a minute with the president, what would you tell him? And I can still remember like, if you had 20 million pesos, what would you do with it? And for a 15-year-old, I was like, wow, you know, these are like questions that means that this pageant is really looking for someone who is smart, who can speak for his fellow youth. And I think that what distinguishes this pageant from others. And as mentioned by Stephanie, the alumni of Miss Teen Philippines are really just successful. They have accomplished so much in different fields, in different ways. And I think that's kind of like the branding that Miss Teen Philippines gives to its candidates, that the moment they step out of the pageant, they are never the same. So as Attorney Mark said, once a Miss Teen, always a Miss Teen. So it really stays on you. The advocacy, you live it. Not just after the coronation night, you go back to your normal activities. No, you actually become Miss Teen Philippines, whether or not you win. Like it's imbibed on you. It's like a spirit, I think, that until now we keep that keeps us together. We actually have a group chat, like our batch, and we still um, communicate with each other, like, oh, who's in Manila, who wants to hang out, and yeah, the friendship is really it's still there. And one thing another thing that I think makes it different is that there was no sense of competition amongst us. Like, you know, the sabotage usually that happens in other pageants. Miss Teen Philippines was not like that. It was like a place of growth for everyone. Like everybody loves each other. We help each other. Like Bianca said, we were helping fix our dresses because when we fit the dress, we were still slim. And after feeding us for like a week of buffets, we really gained a lot of weight for the final fitting. So we were like helping each other fix, you know, the buttons and the zippers of our clothes. And yeah, the friendship, especially of the candidates, is really priceless. So this pageant is amazing, and we can't be more happy that it's back, and it's now gonna take another set of empowered women to take on the stage and vie for the crown for 2019. Yeah.
Okay. Are there revisions with regards to requirements and qualifications for those who want to join the search?
Revision. So before we used to be 13 to 18. Now they raised it to 14 to 18 because I think before there was a candidate who was really so young, and it like the age gap from 13 to 18 is quite big. So they changed it to 14 to 18. Before, I'm not sure if there was a height requirement, but now they're putting it to like minimum of 5'2" in height. And as far as I remember, the like other qualifications is that the girl must be, of course, a natural born Filipina, well, single, or never been married, and currently enrolled in an educational institution. So those will be like the usual requirements. And Sir Ferdy will be saying something.
If I may add, no, yes, the qualifications has been revised a bit to keep up with the times. More so now with the social media very active. And then of course, when you look at 13-year-olds, medyo sobrang bata pa talaga. 14, we said yes because we've had already two 14-year-old winners, Stephanie Sol and Julian Savard of, I think, 06. So mukhang kaya naman nila. We had a 13-year-old before. Her name, she's actually known now as Luis de los Reyes. We did not take her in when she was 13. We took her in when she was 14. And she was quite ready. Yung 13 talaga nene pa siya nun eh. So, yun. And if you were to ask a while ago about the difference in Miss Teen Philippines as compared to the other teen pageants, I may not be aware of how they conduct Miss Teen Miss Teen pageants or what teenager pageants in other organizations, but in our organization, we make it a truly nationwide search. We have pocket pageants. In other words, we have small pageants done in different regions. Why we did this? Because these are very young ladies, as they say, dito sila lahat nagsimula. Marami dyan never pageant. So at least if they have their experience in a pageant sa lugar nila, suportado ng mga pamilya, kaibigan. So they don't just come to Manila, pageant na. They have their little pageants in their own regions for them to experience how it is to be in a pageant. And then they come to the nationals to have the big pageant. So, you know, parang grade school to high school. So, yun yung atake namin sa search namin for Miss Teen. Yan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck to the winners.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Jay Pataw for Malaya Business Insight. I'd like to ask Mr. G. Okay, parang talk show. I just want to ask, what made you decide to take over and stage this after 3 years to stage Miss Teen Philippines for 2019?
After 3 years, I believe Sir Ferdy can answer that question. Kasi we came in this year lang eh. Yes, for 3 years, they were planning to start the Miss Philippines 2019, but let me call on Mr. Ferdy.
Okay, actually, ang Miss Teen Philippines, never nawala sa puso namin yan. We're still in touch. You know, even Seth would attest to that. We know how they've been doing. We know who became lawyers. We know who became dentists. We know who got married. We know who did not have a good life. It's not all, you know, sweet, di ba? May good and bad, di ba? May mga iba not so good, may mga iba really good. But, you know, we feel that we're family. We are in touch with them. We're even in touch with the parents, some of the parents. And when we started Miss Teen back in 2004, it was just a group of friends who were just thinking about, hey, pageant, parang that's kinda, you know, sometimes parang nakakaawa, hindi naman nakakaawa, parang when you listen to how the jeers are, with the way sometimes just one single candidate would answer wrongly, parang hindi dapat ganito eh. We should uplift and empower these women. Di ba? Because it's not easy to stand in front of a lot of people to answer difficult questions. Sabi namin, but ano pwede natin gawin? Ang dami ng pageant dyan. At that time, meron na bang teenager type of ano? None. Or none that we know of. There was maybe Miss Young International, if I'm correct, no? But other than that, we were not aware. So, next question is, may Miss Teen Philippines na ba? So, research, wala. We registered the name Miss Teen Philippines immediately the week after and said, okay, let's ask friends if this is viable. A lot of support came in, and we did it. We did it for a few years, and then the crisis came. So sad to say, we couldn't continue. Siyempre, let's be realistic, financially, if you're down, mahirap rin talagang ituloy. No? That now that, siyempre, mas maganda na ang situation ng Pilipinas, and of course, the pageant industry is booming right now, we all know that. So I think it's the perfect time to come back. And her group, they were into, you know, this youth empowerment, and said, "Uy, ang galing nga." And then we discussed, hey, we have this. Why don't we do this? Why don't we collaborate? So, yes. And then I said, okay, we will let you run it. We will give you the license to run it. Let's do it, but we will support you, and we'll make sure that hopefully Miss Teen Philippines will be here to stay. And with, of course, with all the support of everyone, from media, from press, from sponsors, from our old, no, they're still young, our young winners, and all the Miss Teen from all over the country. I mean, we have a Facebook group. No, when I posted, they were so excited. Okay, some of them are moms na, some of them are dreaming that my daughter will hopefully be a Miss Teen. Sabi niya, medyo hindi pa lang kayo, 5 years old pa lang yan. So, yun. So that's how it is.
I have covered this from the very beginning in 2004. And I must commend you for coming up with the most deserving winners, beginning with Sol, of course.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I would agree with you.
And my next question will go to Stephanie. As the very first winner, Steph, I actually, when I saw you earlier, I thought it was not that long ago. It's been that long, you know, and it's been half your life since that time. My question is, as the very first winner, what advice can you give to the future aspiring contestants for Miss Teen Philippines, considering that I know at times it would be a test of nerves also, I know that.
I guess first is to open yourself and open your mind for the changes that will come with Miss Teen Philippines and the whole experience. Kasi I guess the reason why I am still here today is because it changed my life, and it changed my life forever. I couldn't imagine my life if I was not Miss Teen Philippines, or if I didn't join the pageant. It showed me, during that time we had a different advocacy. It was still education, but there was also about sexual abuse in women. And it showed me the realities of life. Especially now in social media, we see a lot of things that really bother us. And with Miss Teen Philippines, it kind of helped me to have a more critical mind when it comes to thinking of these issues, not just it's a problem, now how can I be part of that solution? So that's how it changed me. In every single decision that I make in my life since Miss Teen Philippines, I always wanted to be a part of the solution and not the problem. And I guess that's what we need, especially today. The problems are becoming more and more difficult to solve because what I learned, it's a VUCA world. It's very volatile, it's ever-changing, it's so ambiguous. So more than ever, we need people to become part of the solution. And sometimes, when you think about it, one solution is another person's problem. So I guess Miss Teen helped me to have a broader perspective, a more open mind na hindi dahil solusyon to sa paningin ko, solusyon niyo sa ibang tao. Because another person's misery is another person's business. So I guess it just allow yourself to be expanded by the whole Miss Teen Philippines. That's why it's a good training kasi even if you don't want to go into pageantry, then it gives you an edge of how to think and a way to go about life. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.